Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and my guest today is Laura Marsala, who happens to have been the person who started the Mayville Tree Advisory Committee. Thank you for appearing on Fresh Perspectives today, Laura.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's a really important topic because we are going to be talking about trees. Now, do you want to say something about phase one here?
Sure. Well, I'll start at the beginning. In 2023, I was taking the Master Gardener course through the Cornell Cooperative Extension, and one of the requirements is to have an action project that benefits your community. And so I was kind of thinking, what can I do to improve the community? And I just kind of looked around, and I realized that Mayville's trees are very old, and there's really not a replacement program in place. So that project was approved for the Master Gardener program, and I started by sending out a survey to assess the needs. And I wanted to know what people wanted, if there was really interest in this starting a committee. And so we sent out a survey that asked several questions, such as were people interested in planting a tree on their property? Or were they interested in purchasing a memorial tree? Were they interested in GPS mapping and identifying Mayville's trees? Were they have any interest in serving on the committee or helping to plant trees? Or if they were interested in any workshops. And I got a really good response. I think I had a total of 76 responses, which is not bad because people don't like to fill out surveys very much.
And Mayville's a small town anyway.
Exactly,
so.
and who knows how many people are in town year-round.
Now, was that only people that lived inside the village? Because I don't remember getting one of those.
It went to, yes.
Just inside the village limits?
Yes.
Because we're out in the country, so.
Right. Yes, it was just within the Mayville proper.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met with the Mayor Seiper and the Board of Trustees, and they have been so supportive of this project. And they saw that, yes, there is a need here, and they encouraged me to go ahead and start the process. So the first thing was to establish a mission, and our objective is to build a comprehensive tree cover replacement plan over the next 2 to 3 year period in phases, and establish Mayville as a Tree City USA, which is a program under the Arbor Day Foundation. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, there are certain requirements. You have to have a certain amount of money in the village budget allocated to trees and tree replacement, and you have to hold an Arbor Day ceremony once a year. So that was one of our goals. Mm-hmm. And then in order to be legitimate, we had to establish a board and have minutes, and the board members provide oversight, guidance, and a framework under which Mayville community can sustain, maintain, and grow its tree cover through systematic assessment, research, removal, and replacement.
Oh, okay. So you do have the idea then of taking down some really old trees then?
Well, that was one of the impetuses. I noticed that, I heard buzzsaws going all the time, and it was very disturbing because I knew that the trees were old and there weren't a lot going back up. Mm-hmm. So we got kind of a triple whammy. The emerald ash borer killed a lot of trees.
Right.
And then there's a pine beetle that's killing trees.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that.
Yeah, if you look around, you'll start seeing some of the pines along across the street from the Lakeside Park.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them are dying. You'll start noticing it now in big
Now
patches.
That you've told me,
yes.
I'll notice it.
You'll notice it all over. And then the other thing was the trees are so old,
mm-hmm.
Particularly in Lakeside Park. And I thought to myself, wow, these trees are all the same age. they're losing branches. They're all going to die at the same time, and we'll have no shade down there, and that's essential.
Right, right.
I really feel that Lakeside Park is a diamond in the rough. I think it can really be just shine as you know, a great habitat for all kinds of wildlife and birds and insects and things like that.
Okay. Now, you, for phase 2, that has to do with enlisting volunteers. You've mentioned you hear 4-H, scout troops, students, and environmental groups, and so forth.
Anybody can volunteer. For the tree committee is open to the public. We welcome any input from people. They can just come, or they can email us and let us know their suggestions. The volunteers is mostly for when we start getting planting going. But like I said, anybody's welcome to the program.
I guess I might want to mention my husband went to Syracuse University
Forestry?
in the forestry program. Yeah.
Hey, well, we're going to enlist him then. And I am by no means an expert on trees, but I have built a really good network of professionals who are, and I'd just like to name them, give them a little bit of credit. Particularly Carol Markham from the Chautauqua Watershed Conservancy. She's a conservationist. She's been a great advisor to helping us determine what trees we should be replacing with. And let's see, there is also a big thank you to Rick Seiper, the mayor. He's been super supportive of this program, and the Board of Trustees have all been really helpful. Adam Gallwitzer is the field sciences teacher at the high school, and he is helping us map the trees in the village. Our goal is to map every single tree in the village, and it will be entered onto the village database, so the one that has where all the water pipes are and the sewer lines and all that, so that we can monitor and see, okay, this tree might need to be replaced in 5 years, or this tree is coming down, it needs a replacement, or so it'll be just an easy way to track where we need the work to be done.
Now, when they cut down a tree, you're talking about stump removal also?
No, just we haven't gotten into that yet. Right now, just trying to stop the tree removal and make a plan to get some more trees in. So after the committee was formed, and let's see, and then we decided what our goals were, and we decided we needed to start applying for grants. And one of the first things we did was assess Lakeside Park. That's one of our biggest goals, is to repopulate that. It's pretty bare. And the Chautauqua County 2% occupancy, let's see, I think that's the name of it specifically, the occupancy, well,
bed tax.
Sorry.
He said something.
The bed tax.
Oh, yes, the occupancy bed tax. Oh, here it is, the Chautauqua County 2025 Occupancy Tax Program for Grants for Lakes and Waterways. That's why I couldn't remember the name of it. That is something the county levies a 2% tax on beds here, and then all that money goes back to the county. And so we put together a grant requesting 68 trees and shrubs for the park. That was Carol Markham helped me put that list together. And the trees that we've chosen are all going to thrive there. We've selected mostly trees that are native to Chautauqua County because they're already here and we know they'll do well. And then we plan to, through the Grove, that's that large collection of trees right off the parking lot. That's really failing, and we want to start replacing that right away. They've already started taking down some of those trees.
Oh, okay.
But there is another grant that the village is working on through Barton and LaJudas, and that grant includes a pathway through the Grove. So once that's established, the high school students are going to plan it'll be a learning path where we'll have all native shrubs and trees and flora of some kind. So the students under Adam Gallwitzer will be planning that. So we're trying to get young people invested in this because it's their village.
Right.
And they're going to be here, and I'm not going to be here to enjoy these trees, but they will be.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and a couple other things that the tree committee is trying to do is establish a memorial tree program to raise funds, and we have a lot of plans. So let's see. I'd like to show the PowerPoint that I presented to the board of trustees to get them on board with this.
Okay.
And because it has a lot of information about how important trees are. Okay, so it won't take long, but so
Trees, yes, please.
yes, please. Okay, and these are all the benefits of trees. They're just incredible. I think everybody should be aware how they improve the air and water quality. They reduce flooding, reduce cooling and heating energy needs, increase property values, and they improve quality of life for people and wildlife. Okay.
Yeah, those are all important things. So many trees have been cut down, like in the Amazon, in the rainforest, and like that, just for grazing cattle.
Yeah. Yeah, and people don't realize you're not just removing the shade, you're removing protection from the heat and the cool, and you're removing habitats for so many insects and birds and mammals.
Right, and then there's the oxygen that the trees produce.
Also, I think in the next slide I say give some statistics about
Okay.
that. Trees will remove 53, I think it's 100 trees will remove 53 tons of carbon dioxide per year and 430 pounds of other air pollutants. That's major.
Mm-hmm.
That keeps our air clean. They also catch about 140,000 gallons of rainwater per year. So if you think about if we didn't have those trees, where's all that water going?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another really
Right.
important factor.
Right.
It can help reduce flooding and erosion, improve important habitats for wildlife, and enhance the regional biodiversity.
Mm-hmm.
There's other advantages. You can go on. These are statistics from the forestry department, and commercial districts really benefit from trees, whether you know it or not. Statistically, people shop more frequently and longer in treed areas. They're willing to pay more for parking, and their willingness to spend 12% more for goods in a shaded area. Strategically placed trees can save up to 56% on annual air conditioning costs. They can block winter winds, and strategically placed, and they can increase your homeowner's property value, just for the visual effect of it.
Yeah, we just heard a program on National Public Radio last night on the downfalls, basically, of air-conditioned buildings and things.
Yes.
So
if you can strategically plant trees that will shade your home, I personally don't have air conditioning. I don't need it. My house is shaded, and it makes a huge difference.
And we live up north.
Well, that does help. Yeah. But there's those few days when you
Yeah,
you
we
kinda
do
wish.
have some hot weather in the summer. Yes.
Yes. But I think we have some other advantages here.
Oh, sure.
Healthy trees equal healthier people. It's proven that tree-filled neighborhoods have lower levels of domestic violence, and they're safer and more sociable. It reduces symptoms of stress and depression, and it can aid in recovery from surgery. And access to tree-filled parks is really important. It increases the likelihood that people will exercise, offers a place to meet and establish bonds with your neighbors, and it fosters a pride and sense of ownership within the community. And I think that Mayvillians are pretty proud of Lakeside Park, and they should be.
Oh,
it's
sure.
really a natural
Yeah.
jewel.
It is.
It's the only free access area on the lake, and that we need to take advantage of that. It's pretty nice.
Yes, it is.
And then, okay, this is, I was trying to make a point of how the park looked then and how it looks now. Unfortunately, I could only find old postcards, but...
Okay, when was that picture?
Oh, these are old postcards from the turn of the century.
Oh,
Yeah,
the turn of which century?
the
1900s.
1900s, yeah.
1900?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that was a long,
Or early
over
40.
100 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you can see how treed it is, and there's shade. There's a nice beach all the way around, and there's shade, and then you can go to the next one. And this is the grove I was talking about. Granted it's spring, but it's pretty sparse. You can see that the trees, particularly in the lower right-hand corner, they're struggling. They've lost a lot of branches, and those really are important for riparian buffers. Okay, you can go to the next one. Okay, that's another old postcard, probably from the 40s or 30s.
Wow.
You can see that's the ball field, and then you can see how treed it is, and that's the trees now.
That's the same spot?
Yeah.
Wow.
It
It looks totally different.
It's pretty sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and this is Main Street before the state came through and took down all the canopy of, I think they were maples, to widen the road.
Oh.
So you don't.
This is South Erie Street.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes. No, I always call it Main Street. But there used to be a canopy where the trees would be touching. So that's what alerted me to, the need to replace these trees.
Yeah, down in Jamestown on 3rd Street, when you first turn off of Fairmount Avenue, that used to be a really nice shaded area, like driving through a tunnel. And now they, to prevent during windstorms and things, they've taken down all those trees along 3rd Street, and it just isn't as nice as it was before they cut them down.
No, it's very stark.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to replace, plant more trees there or what. I don't know.
They've already planted little trees.
Oh, they have planted baby trees? Okay.
Okay, that's great. Unfortunately, though, a lot of us older people will remember canopies on the streets where you grew up.
Right.
I grew up in Colorado, and our streets were just huge canopy of elm
trees.
And the Dutch elm disease came along and killed everything, and now that's happening to the ash borer. So arborists are suggesting, foresters are suggesting that we no longer plant all of the same tree. So we'll never have those.
Plant a variety.
Yes, to protect. The biodiversity is really important to protect. If one thing gets nailed with a disease, then you'll still have some trees. So we'll never have those beautiful canopies again, but we can be almost as good as that, I think.
Okay.
So I'm
That's
hopeful.
good. I hope
I'm
so
hopeful.
too.
So I'd like to just talk a little bit about the committee members. I'd like to call them out. The core members, of course, anybody's invited. We encourage anybody to visit and stop in. We meet every third Tuesday at 6 o'clock down at the Carlson Center.
Oh, okay.
So please come on down. The core members are Sharon Smead, Elizabeth Lasser, Priscilla McKean, John Ortendahl, Rick Seiper, Pat Appleby, Catherine Herzl, Mark Smith, and Adam Gallwitzer, and myself. But we'd love to have more. There's been other people that have stopped in for a meeting or two, but we really need the community's input to make this program go. Once the committee was established, we started GPS mapping with the help of the students, but the village needs to have the whole thing done. So Tim Johnson is nice enough from the DPW department. He's nice enough. He'll train people how to do the readings, and that will include the size, girth, variety, and general health of the tree, and height if we can estimate that. So we'll have just general, and how the general condition of it, just so we can track that. Also, the mayor's been nice enough to give us a web page on the village site, so that if you have any questions about trees, if you go to the village site and then on the far right corner of the bar it says more, we're under more, tree committee, and it has a wealth of information if you're questioning the village rules about planting, if you need a little guidance in planting. We also have a great list of native trees for Chautauqua County, lots of resources, and the committee meeting minutes and our schedule. And you can also email us questions or suggestions there. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But so that was really nice of the village to do that. Village tree trimming and removal process, things like that.
Have we seen everything that you wanted at this point on the screen?
No, there's 2 more slides, but they're coming. Well,
they're
actually,
the ones that are coming at the end of the program.
Yeah, actually,
okay.
he can show them now. Oh, well, I forgot about this one. Yeah, this is just a list of things that help community, well-managed community canopies, and that's a tree ordinance, an oversight group, identification, inventory, a management plan, and consultants and volunteers. And those are the factors that drive our actions. And then I think there's one more. Oh, okay, the targeted zones, mostly we're targeting Lakeside Park right now because we really want to get that up and shining. And then the shoreline along the rails to trails, we've been doing a little work there. The Uptown Green, the rails to trails, and then residential and commercial streets. We do need some tree replacement on quite a few of the streets, so we are working on that. And okay, I think the next slide. So we are researching state and federal grants. We're always open to donations, which I'd like to talk about a program that the mayor also approved. If you donate an amount to planting a tree on village property, the village will match it by 50%. So if I donate $100, then we've got $150 for a tree, which increases the village's buying power. We really have a small budget. We're a small village, and we really need people to get on board with this. So we thought that was a good incentive, and it just makes it. I think we have enough for 3 trees that are going to be planted in the fall. So I encourage people to donate because it's your village, and we're doing the best we can. And then we will be doing site evaluations, which means soil testing, testing for drainage, and noticing the barriers such as wires and pipes and drains and things like that.
Yeah.
To prepare for if we get we're really hopeful that we'll get the bed tax grant of $20,000. So we'll need to prepare for that and have the sites all ready to get the trees in. So this is who we need. Village residents and civic groups, youth groups, students, environmental groups, and we hope to be planting over a 5-year period. So it's a long term.
Oh, it's going to take a while.
Yeah, there's nothing fast. And I always this is not my proverb, but I think it's apt. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. Because you don't realize what you've got until it's gone, and that's so true with trees. All of a sudden, you're not going to have any trees, so we need to plan ahead for that. We need to have a little vision. You can go to the next slide, thank you. So this is for the grant, the bed tax grant. I've taken some pictures of, you can see how stark it is.
Yeah.
And our goal is to get trees planted all along the shoreline there, and along you can see the rails to trails path. It's hot walking there.
Yes,
It's very hot in the summer. So we think shade would be really great. And then down the lower left-hand corner, that's the grove. You can see that it has some flooding issues, and the trees we've selected will help mitigate that flooding. And then
Were these pictures taken in the early spring?
Yes. Yes. So nothing's blooming. Nothing's leafed outright, but you can see there are enormous spaces that just need trees. That just screams a need for trees for me. And then I think, is there one more slide? Yes. Okay. So Arbor Day. This was the first Arbor Day held in Mayville since the 1970s, and it culminated after the tree workshops that we held at the library. And the sessions were held to raise awareness and to educate people on the importance of trees. The first one was site assessment. The second was basic tree planting and care. The third was pruning, and the fourth one was applying everything that people learned. The class actually selected the site and selected the tree based on what we learned, and then we planted at the library. So we're hoping that this will become an annual thing, and if people are interested in doing the classes again, we'll be happy to offer them. I did them in conjunction with the Cornell Cooperative Extension LEAF program with Rose Clark, and very knowledgeable, and they were very successful. We had good turnout. So,
Oh, that's good.
yeah. So let's see.
Oh, you planted a redbud tree at the library.
Yes, we did.
Oh, I love those. Those are so beautiful when they're when the blossoms are on
It was
them.
really nice. About 2 weeks later, it blossomed, and everybody was really happy with it. It complements what's there, and it was a really good choice. I was proud of everybody.
Yeah.
So let's see. So I'll just quickly talk, unless you have any questions. I'm just kind of going along here.
Well, I'll ask them as I think of them, you know.
Okay.
There was, I don't know, I kind of want to make sure you have time to do everything you want to, but
Sure.
somebody suggested to me that if you wanted to say something about how the trees communicate with each other through the roots.
Oh, okay, the mycelium. I'm not super knowledgeable about that, but yes, there are mother trees, and they send out, I think it's mycelium, and it actually nurtures the trees around it, and it not only nurtures its own kind, but other trees in the
That
area.
are close to it.
Yes,
yeah.
so when you remove a mother tree, you're going to hurt a lot of other trees around it, so that needs to be something. That's a relatively new discovery, and there's a couple great books on that. I don't know the names of them, but.
And then you might want to say something kind of quick about the Asian jumping worms.
Oh, the Asian jumping worms are horrible. They are super invasive. They mass produce. You'll get, if you just see this ball of worms in there, you can tell a jumping worm they actually jump. And then they have a little white band on them toward the head. They're different from the night crawlers. There's a distinct difference. But if you get those in your soil is going to turn to coffee grounds. That's how it will be. That just depletes everything. So if you buy something from a nursery, if you buy something from a greenhouse, if somebody gives you a plant, you really need to check the soil. And we suggest unpotting, checking the soil, going through it, making sure that there's nothing there, and using fresh soil. You do not want to pass that to anybody. It's really invasive.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, okay, I guess
Okay.
we can go on.
All right. And I'm sorry, I can't tell you more about that, but
Yeah, well, that's okay. You've warned people anyways.
yes, please check your soil, and the way you can get rid of that is if you put the soil in a plastic bag and let it bake in the sun for a week or so.
Okay.
That usually mitigates it.
Usually that takes care of the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you get soil And just because you bought it from a reputable nursery or big box store doesn't mean that it's clean. So if you buy bags of soil, let them sit out in the sun before you open them for a week or so. That will help. Flip them over halfway through and bake them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I just wanted to point out a few things that the committee has done already, and then talk a little bit about where our future plans. So, well, I've already talked about establishing and applying for grants. We are also going to go after a community foundation grant to just get some trees in the ground. The bed tax grant won't be, we don't know if that'll be approved until the end of the year, and then the funds aren't available until 2025. So that means probably a fall 2025 planting.
Wow, okay.
So in the meantime, we want to get shovels in the ground and show people a little progress. So we're going to apply for a community foundation grant just to get some trees within the village.
Okay.
We've also removed a lot of the choking vines along the shoreline.
Oh, okay.
If anybody's walked around along the rails to trails, you'll see those vines just choking out those trees. And we've cut a lot of those down to give the trees a chance.
Okay.
We have reviewed and updated and approved the village tree manual. The Board of Trustees approved our changes, and really the only changes were an update for the recommended trees, and those were mostly native trees for Chautauqua County. That's what we're recommending that people plant. And then the mayor has instituted, if they remove one tree, they have to plant two.
Oh,
Replace two, and I think that is a really great policy that will really help us get, because just so many have been taken down. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want a tree, I have to rake the leaves, but you have to look at the big picture of the benefits. It's not just raking leaves. I mean, those leaves are an important part of soil replacement and replenishment, decomposition. You can grind them up into your lawn if you don't want to rake them. You can put them in your compost pile. There's all kinds of things that the leaves can do, and you can't discount the advantages we already talked about: the cleaner air, the erosion and water mitigation, flooding mitigation, heating and cooling, and just beauty. Let's see. So we thank the mayor for that policy.
Yeah.
And then, so what we're working on right now is, well, the Community Foundation grant, and we're working to save some of the willows along the shoreline by the railroad depot. They look, some of them have huge hollowed out areas where they're just decaying, but they actually are healthy, and I'm getting an arborist in to certify that they really are safe and healthy before they just take. That's one nice thing about the village has been really nice about informing us about what trees they're going to remove, and then we discuss it and advise it, because I think a lot of times a tree just needs a good pruning.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be taken down.
One thing that I will ask about the willows, it was something somebody told me one time, I don't know if it's true or not, but something about cutting down a willow tree can be dangerous because it splinters or something. Is that true?
Well, the wood's soft, so yeah, it is fairly soft and brittle, and that's. But if you have an arborist do it or somebody who knows what they're doing, most of the danger of that is you need to dig that tree up, because the willow is just going to send up all kinds of sprouts.
Oh, okay.
You'll never get rid of it.
Okay. So digging it up is the best thing then.
Taking it down and then getting that stump out is really important, because it will just actually, the Watershed Conservancy put a riparian buffer down in the park a couple of years ago, and they didn't realize that they had removed a willow there. And it's ruined now because all the sprouts are coming up, and they're going to have to start all over again with that. It's pretty messy right now.
Oh, okay.
So,
I knew that I'd heard there was some sort of a problem with
That's one, and they're messy trees also, but they
Yeah.
also provide incredible shade.
Uh-huh.
And
They're
really,
beautiful to look at.
They really are, and I think that's one of the hallmarks of our shoreline is the black willows that once graced that. There's a few left, but we are going to replace some of those along
Okay.
there. So let's see. Oh, and then another thing we're interested in is establishing a live stake nursery. The mayor is supportive of this. We just have to find a spot to put it. And live staking means that the villagers will be able to come and take cuttings from established trees.
Oh, okay.
So it will mostly be for ornamental shrubs and things. But and then we can also help our budget by planting. The larger the caliper, meaning the girth of the tree, the bigger it is that you can plant, the better it is because it's more established. So, but they're very expensive. So if we buy smaller trees and nursery them for a few years, then we have the advantage of planting a larger tree, and it has a better chance of surviving.
Okay.
And it saves us money. So that's in the works. We're also working with Royal Fern Nursery to offer discounts to people who buy native trees. That's still in the works, so more to come on that. I mentioned the mapping of the village trees, establishing a memorial tree program, more workshops, the learning path through the grove. The students will be doing that, and a multitude of flowering bulbs in the grove. So that's pretty much the program. It's a core group of people that could really use some help. If you have any love for trees at all, please join us. We need everybody for this. And let's see.
Okay, you need residents to notify you of any tree
Yes.
problems, questions, safety concerns, and advice?
Yes, we're happy to provide that. There, like I said, there is an email on the website, the village website, under the tree committee, and you can drop us a note if you notice. So, I mean, the citizens are the people who are going to notice these things. The people who walk daily are going to notice things. The DPW crew is very busy just getting the daily maintenance things done. So they're going to rely on us to notice these things. If you see a tree a branch that's down, if you see a tree that's struggling, if you see a place that you think a tree needs to go, if you want help choosing the right tree for your property, we can help you with all of that. As a matter of fact, I have some property owners who contacted me last week and want to put some trees on their rental properties, which I was so happy about. And so I'm going to meet with them next week, and we will. I'll help them choose the right trees that will thrive.
Okay.
And then we'll do a site assessment, making sure that there's no impediments to growth, good growth.
Okay, do you want to let the viewing audience know, like the website and phone number
Yeah,
where
sure.
they can contact? You have some of these things here.
Absolutely. So the village site is just villageofmayville.com, and then you go under more at the far right menu bar, and under that is the tree committee. And if anybody's, I'm going to plug the Master Gardener program a little bit because
Okay.
it's such a great network. I've learned so much, and if I don't have the answers, I know somebody who does.
Okay.
And so the Master Gardener program is, it's run through the Cornell Cooperative Extension, and it's www.chautauqua.cce.cornell.edu, and you can find out more about the program there. And they also have a helpline. If you have any questions, if you have insect problems or blight on your plants, or any kind of question, agriculture or growing question, they have a great helpline, and they're open on Wednesdays from noon to 2, and the number is 716-664-9502, extension 224. And they're very knowledgeable and helpful, and if they don't know the answer, they will find it for you.
Okay.
So,
The name of that person I was trying to remember earlier popped into my mind.
Oh.
From the Watershed Conservancy, John Jablonski.
Oh,
You-
he might still be there. I'm not,
Yeah, he might.
Yeah, I'm not positive.
Okay.
Carol is the one I usually deal with.
Okay.
She's really accessible. And actually, I'm going to plug her Lakescapes program.
Yes,
The
definitely.
Watershed Conservancy has a program called Lakescapes. It's free. Anybody in Chautauqua County can, in the watershed area, can call and make an appointment, and she will come out and assess your property and help you make decisions about mitigating lake pollution. It's all, she described the lake as a big toilet bowl, and everything runs, everything in the watershed runs down into that bowl. So you might not think that what you plant in your yard makes a difference, but it really does.
Yeah. Now, how far can this sediment drain into the lake from? Can it be miles?
It can be, yeah. It's if it's in the watershed, yes, it's going to affect the lake. And I know we've had a lot of problems with algae bloom and all kinds of pollutants in there, and people are trying really hard to mitigate that, to keep the weeds growing, down, keep that down, and just make a cleaner lake. And there's something that everybody can do, whether you think you can or not. Another problem is salt from the roads.
Oh, yeah.
And so those riparian buffers, meaning plantings along the lake shore, instead of having the lake come right up to the grass or whatever, you need a buffer there that will catch all those things and process them instead of them going into the lake. So that's really important.
Okay. Now, when Carol Markham comes to somebody's property to assess what should be done with it, she basically just gives you advice. She doesn't actually help you with the work, is that right?
No, she just assesses and gives you suggestions.
Okay.
And nothing. And for example, she just visited my yard, and I was aware of this problem, but we did discuss it. I have a lot of honeysuckle growing, and that's
okay.
That's
Invasive.
considered invasive now because the birds take the seeds and they drop them everywhere in the forest, and now they're popping up all over the forest. So although it might be a good habitat, it's in the long run it's not. So she discussed removing them and what to replace them with. She encourages people she advises them on native plants and flowers they can put in to encourage bee pollinator population, which is really important. We need that. The bees are struggling right now, so they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, they are. Actually, my husband and I had a few beehives for almost 30 years.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't?
Not anymore, no. For one thing, the one year, all of the ones that we had died off, and we figured, we were at a stage in our life that we did not try to replace them. So
Did they collapse or did they just die out?
well, it seemed like I'm not sure what happened. It might have had something to do with that colony collapse disorder, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
So
It's like, well, that's happening to a lot of beekeepers, and we need that for our food.
Right.
This is a major agricultural county, and when we have the grapes here and the fruit trees along the shoreline, and we really need those bees, not just bees. There's all kinds of pollinators, but basically bees. So that's Carol helps, advising that kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember when she appeared on Fresh Perspectives one time, she was mentioning some good pollinating things that people should plant for the pollinating insects. I know there's that white clover that comes up in the grass around our house.
Which is great.
And I've been seeing a lot of honeybees foraging on that this summer.
Good. That's a good sign.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
it
also
is.
something that they call no-mow May.
No-mow
May.
No, not
no.
to mow your lawn
Yes.
in May.
Or
Okay.
sections of it where you have clover or little buttercups or something, wildflowers. A lot of people consider those weeds, but the bees need those.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the problems that is that they mow along the highways and along the
Yeah.
and that provides an incredible array of wildflowers for the bees.
Right,
So
right.
as they do that, so they're encouraging people, even if it's just a little strip, just leave a little strip.
I know. They mow down out in the country where we are. They mow down probably half of the daylilies along the side of the road.
Yeah, and springtime's critical for bees because their honey supply that they've kept for the winter is probably almost depleted. So they really need that pollen. So,
Yeah.
so there's the no-mow May. I hope people will consider doing that. And then there's also another program with the Watershed Conservancy. It's you can have your yard designated as a wildlife refuge. And I'm really sorry I don't have that website for that. You can contact the Conservancy
Oh, yeah.
and ask them about that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the criteria is you have to provide water, food, nesting places. I think there's 6 things that you can do. And their goal is you have to have a certain amount of residents be designated as a wildlife refuge, and then the county can be designated as a wildlife refuge county.
Oh, okay.
And there's
Okay.
more, you can find out more about that
Okay.
from the Conservancy.
Okay. Well, we have about 10 minutes left, and I know that you brought with you a list of the trees
Yes.
that should be planted.
This is just a basic list. These are native trees for Chautauqua County, and the reason it's important to plant them is because they're already here, and we know they thrive in this area. It's kind of like you don't want to plant a palm tree in here
Oh,
because you know it's not
no.
going to thrive. And these trees
No.
have the best chance, and they've been selected for disease resistance and for the habitats they provide, the general benefits to nature and wildlife. So these are the American sycamore, the basswood, or it's also called linden, black tupelo, black willow, chokecherry, cucumber tree, downy serviceberry, eastern hemlock, eastern red cedar, hackberry, hop hornbeam, northern red oak, northern white cedar, pagoda dogwood, the pawpaw, river birch, red maple, sassafras, silver maple, swamp white oak, sweet gum, tulip poplar, and the white oak.
The tulip poplar are really beautiful.
I'm planting those this weekend on my property.
Oh,
yes,
good.
They grow fairly fast, and a lot of these do well in moist to wet soils.
And we get lots of rain around here.
We do, and we also have very clay soil here. So these are really a good choice for them. And they just provide food and shelter for all kinds of birds, bees. A lot of these are flowering. So
I love flowering trees.
yeah, so that's one of the reasons that they were selected, and they will just thrive. You can find this list on the Tree Committee website, on the village page, on our page, and they range depending on your need. When you do a site assessment, you have to decide what you want this tree to be. Do you want it to be a flowering ornamental thing? Do you want it to soak up water from your property? Do you want to provide a habitat do you want it to be a canopy tree? Do you have obstructions? You don't want it hitting the wires or anything? So this list includes a wide range of heights and purposes.
Which is what we want, right?
Yes.
A wide range of heights.
Yeah. Yes, yes, a wide range. You want biodiversity, so don't plant all one kind of tree. You want a nice variety in your yard.
We do have some sassafras at our house. Well, my husband's grandmother had a sassafras tree down in Falconer, where she lived, and she was complaining about it because more baby trees kept coming up. And so my husband, transplanted. Well, he had to try 2 or 3 times before he finally succeeded, and we finally got a sassafras
Oh, great.
tree in our yard. So, but there's some smaller ones around it. It's kind of been developing a little grove of sassafras.
The mother tree sending out the message.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's the idea behind starting the live steak nursery. The village owns a lot of property, wooded property, and we feel that we could get some really nice specimens from there. The
Oh,
little
yeah.
babies that are starting, and so that's part of that plan. But they're just who doesn't like trees? I mean,
I do not. I feel very uncomfortable and nervous in wide expanses of ground that don't have any trees on them.
you would not do well on the prairie.
No, I would not. I would not. I definitely know that. Or a desert.
Yes, yes. That's a beauty all its own. But the Northeast is just, that's part of our environment, and let's just embrace it and support it because we really need the trees.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, we definitely do. Now, let's see. Where is this Royal Fern Nursery?
Royal Fern Nursery is in Stockton.
Stockton?
Yes, Stockton. They have a website. You can look it up. It's
Okay.
They have just concentrated on growing native plants, and it's not just trees. They have all kinds of native shrubs and flowers and things like that will really do well. They're mostly to support the pollinators, and also the all kinds of insects and things.
Okay. Now with memorial trees, do people get a chance to pick the location if they get a memorial?
Well, that's
tree?
one thing we're trying to work on. Yes, we need to establish that. What we'd like to do is offer a plaque that goes on it, and there would be some site regulation. Just because you want a tree somewhere doesn't mean it's going to be a good place for it or thrive. We'll try and recommend places.
Oh, yeah. But you could give the people some choices.
Yes,
so is that
yes, that's
correct?
what we'd like to do. Yeah, and with the tree, with the 50% support from the village, the program where if you donate the 50% matching donation, we would try and plant it. It has to be on a village property, but we would try and plant it someplace where the donation person would agree to, or they would like it.
Oh, sure. We are down to 4 minutes. Are there other things that you would like to mention?
Well, I think we've pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to say. I'd also like to thank just a few thank yous to people.
Okay.
I'd like to thank Shannon Reno, who is my Master Gardener Advisor from the Cornell Cooperative Extension. She's been really supportive in getting this tree program going.
Is she related to Jim and Pat Reno?
R-I-N-O-W.
Oh, no, theirs is just R-E-N-O.
Yeah, no, she's in Asheville. Pete Holt is the president of the Westfield Tree Committee, and he spent a lot of time going over their policies when I was trying to figure out how to start this. He was a good advisor, and he kind of let me know. Westfield started their tree program, I think, 3 years ago.
Yeah, my son lives in Westfield, and I remember him mentioning some talk of wanting to plant trees in people's front yards. Not the really huge kinds of trees, it's my understanding.
It's more ornamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because you have the wires overhead,
Right,
so that's
right.
another site assessment thing.
Right.
But yes, they've put in quite a few trees. If you see something with a tree with a strange looking bag across it, that's a water bag, and it saves the village or the town from having to water the trees regularly.
Yeah, they said that they would maintain them. The citizens wouldn't have to maintain the ones in their yards.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're hoping that we don't have the budget Westfield does, so we do the best we can. But we did put a water bag in the red bud at the library, so.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
that's kind of self-maintaining.
Yeah.
Again, I'd like to thank Rick Seiper, the mayor, and the Board of Trustee members. They've been so supportive of this program. Mike Jabad is a master forester and a science professor at SUNY Fredonia. He's been a good advisor to me. Nate Morrissey is the DEC forester for Chautauqua County, and he's helped me research grants that are available. There are some DEC grants coming up that we're going to try and go after. They're just kind of extensive work. It takes a lot to get the state grants together, but we're still going to work on them. And I guess just everybody that's on the committee. John Ortendahl has really been instrumental in getting the paperwork for the Arbor Day Foundation, Tree City USA. And
Is that going to be advertised in the newspapers a week or two ahead of time, the Arbor Day gatherings?
yes, we hope so. This was the first one that we had, and so we were just trying to see how
Yeah,
it's
you
going.
could probably, they have what they call a bulletin board here at the studio.
Oh, great.
Where when there's no programming on the television, there's all of these announcements of things that are coming up.
Oh, great.
That people can be involved in. So.
Oh, thank you. That's great.
Sure.
We'll also announce it on the tree website page, and then it goes out at the village newsletter that they send to all the residents. Any kind of thing that we have going on is there. And then the Mayville Community Connection is the Facebook page, and I frequently post that we're having meetings or any classes coming up. But so if anybody is interested in taking a course, we can certainly run them again at the library. They were a good partner, and the director there, Melissa Bartok, is really welcoming to any adult programs that we can bring in. So.
Okay, that sounds really good.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you for appearing on Fresh Perspectives today, because the trees really are a very important part of our lives.
I think so.
So, and I will see those of you in the viewing audience when I do the next episode.
Okay, thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Sure.
Thanks.
Sure.